Hi everyone, and welcome to the Wilder Muse. My name's Bea, and today's topic is how to effectively be a multi-passionate individual. Now, what is a multi-passionate individual? Well, that's easy. It's in the name. It's someone who has a lot of different passions, very varied hobbies, and if you are someone like this, then you have tons of different interests and you probably don't have enough time in the week to do all of them. I know this because I am one of those people. I have a million hobbies. I love to junk journal. I like to journal. I like to write. I like to sing. I like to run. I love to lift weights. I love boxing. I just do all sorts of things all the time and I'm constantly busy. And so I know the struggles of being a multi-passionate individual, but I actually love being a multi-passionate individual because it allows me to experience so many different things and learn so much about the world and meet so many different types of people. I love that I don't get to just fit in one box and that's it. To me, it's one of the greatest expressions of being human because everybody's multifaceted. So it's great to be able to express myself in all these different hobbies. But being a multi-passionate individual does come with its problems, mostly time management and just like being a distraction in general because I do have a full-time job. I do have to do regular chores like laundry, cooking, you name it. And so these are some ways that I deal with being a multi-passionate individual while living a relatively busy normal life. The first way I deal with being a multi-passionate individual is to accept that I have limitations. And this was a really hard mindset shift for me to have because I'm kind of a perfectionist and I'm also very ambitious. And so for a really long time, any hobby or passion that I pursued, I wanted to be the absolute best at it. Like I had to be the best at it. And that only leads to burnout and also just like, I just stop enjoying the thing that I'm doing. Because doing everything to the highest degree at all times is literally an impossible goal, and it just leads to burnout. It just leads to burnout. I mean, even professional athletes have on seasons and off seasons. Like they can't be at their tip-top shape all year round all the time because it actually ends up that they get injured and it's not good. And so I kind of treat my hobbies in a slightly similar way where I have on seasons and off seasons for my hobbies, where I just like I pick whatever I'm focused on at the time and then I just rotate my hobbies. So for example, with my fitness hobbies, I'm really focused on my running right now. I want to get it to a certain point. And so my weightlifting, my boxing, my yoga, they've all taken a back seat. Now, that doesn't mean I don't do them anymore. I just do them way less than before. Same thing with my artistic hobbies. I'm really focused on my junk journaling right now. And so music's kind of been in the back burner, painting's been in the back burner. You get it. On season, off season. I like to rotate them. And again, that's not to say I don't do my other hobbies at the same time. I just do them at a very lesser degree. And so with this mindset shift, you have to give yourself grace to know that you can be really good at other things and much worse at other things. And that's okay. This should be fun. You don't need to be perfect at them all the time. The second way I deal with being a multi-passionate individual is kind of coming off of the on-season, off-season metaphor that I just said, which is to prioritize. I prioritize what hobbies or what projects are important to me at that point in time, and then I allocate my money and my time to those hobbies. A way that I do this is I list out my hobbies, I list out my projects or my goals for certain hobbies, and then I think to myself, okay, which ones do I want to do? And then I just kind of rank them, and then the higher the ranking, the more time and the more money I give to that thing, and then it goes down the list. Now, once you find your priorities, I cannot stress this enough, schedule, schedule, schedule. I block out time for my high priority passions. And I don't just block out time for the activity. I block out time preparing for the activity and decompressing from the activity. So for example, if I go to the gym, I block out the time that I'm working out, but I also block out time for the shower and for the meal after the gym. That way I know exactly how much time I actually need to fit this into my schedule. It's also easier to schedule around the time blocks so that I don't feel rushed during the week and overbook myself. I'm constantly overbooking myself, but I try. Scheduling in your passions and blocking out time for them will make it easier to enjoy them. Trust me. And honestly, Sometimes I block out time in a more general way. So, for example, if I don't know what kind of art I want to do, I just put creative time. And then I can just move around this creative time. But at least I have creative time like in the calendar so that I'm aware that I want to do these things and I don't just neglect them. Now, when you do block out time, you'll realize how little time you actually have in the week. Again, something I struggle with all the time. And one of the ways I deal with this is I automate certain tasks. So for example, I live in New York City. I don't do my own laundry. I pay for a laundry service, and the hours that saves me is worth it. Another way I do this is I was gifted a robot vacuum, and I use that all the time to help pick up my hair because, as you can tell, I have a ton of hair, and me sweeping all this hair all the time takes up more time than you would think. And so having a robot vacuum to do some of the work actually helps shave off time from cleaning and gives me more time to have for my passions. Now, I know times are hard right now, and sometimes paying for a service is not an option. And so one of the ways to save time is to meal prep so that you're not constantly cooking throughout the week. You do a batch cook on Sunday, and then you can eat for the next 5 days, and you don't have to cook every meal for the next 5 days. Another way to save time is to ask your friend for help. That way you can split the time in half, and you'll have more fun. And speaking of fun, the last thing that I do to help me deal with being a multi-passionate individual is to have fun. I try to do my best not to be a perfectionist and remember that these are things that are privileges that I get to enjoy. These hobbies, these passions are privileges that I get to enjoy, and so I should enjoy them. If I get a little too serious about it, I take a step back, I do a little check-in with myself, and I remind myself that these passions should nourish me. They should fulfill me. Because after all, I'm doing it all for myself and for my interests, and that's what makes them fun. So anyway, that's how I deal with being a multi-passionate individual. It's a great way to live, but it's also a little bit stressful. And so these are the ways I try to make it less stressful. I hope that helps. What do you do in your own life? Let me know in the comments. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.